With the most recent threat of government shutdown looming, there is a story making its way around the mainstream media that not a lot of people are paying attention to, but it is something this channel talked about all the way back in 2018. The allegation that I made back then was if there were ever some type of a massive financial hiccup in this country, whether it was natural disaster or collapse of the economy or some other thing, pandemic, one of the first things that would happen would be a mass release of people from the prison system because it is exorbitantly expensive to run the prison system, and without the money and, more importantly, not the people showing up for work to do the things that are necessary to run a prison, they would have to let them go. Now, for those of you who are unaware of this series of videos that we did, they're by far the most popular videos on the channel. If you go to the main channel page, they all got nearly 1 million views, which for a channel this size is a lot. I made the allegation that in a case like this, only the wealthiest of states, California, Texas, Florida, Virginia, New York, would be able to make up the shortfall and still keep some of the prisons running, still be able to finance some of the guards, all this type of thing. Got a lot of pushback. There's this make-believe fake story out there about gas lines in prisons, how they're going to gas everybody and all this nonsense. Well, guess what? It's happening. It is happening, and they are announcing it. And it's a story that most people are just not paying attention to, that if they saw, would just absolutely blow their mind. Now, real quick, before we get into this, just want to every day live a life of gratitude, which, very ironically, will be the life of a released prisoner. There are people that have been locked up since before there were iPhones, since before there's been high-speed internet. There are people that have been locked up since dial-up, and even before that, that had given up on any hope of anything outside. They're going to live a life of gratitude, and we want to do that because that's what the Bible teaches here. Everyone who joins us at Patreon, only $1 per month. Thank you. God bless you. You're making a huge difference in my life. You guys are absolutely amazing. It's only $1 a month over there. The videos are very different. They're more gloves off. They're more in your face. Even less if you sign up for an entire year. You get a pretty decent discount. There's a $5 level. We can partner with Vimeo. We can do this. Thank you guys so much for it. Now, what's the story? What's the big deal? How many of you know anybody who's locked up? How many of you know what that's like? Maybe you've been for a short time, long time. The idea of having no purpose in life, just existing. There's an old song by Larry Gatlin. It's called I've Done Enough Dying Today. And one of the lines in it is, just existing makes dying look awful easy. Maybe tomorrow. I've done enough dying today. Great song by Larry Gatlin. But that's what life inside is like. It's just existing with no purpose. With no purpose of any kind. Now, here's the story. Sometimes, once in a while, these folks that are locked up get an opportunity to go out and do work release. Or they get do a work detail, in this particular case, a work detail, since they're still, part of the system. And they sign up and line up for it. This is a great day for them. This is a fantastic, no matter what the job is, it's a great day for them because for one moment, even for one day, to have a purpose, to do something other than just sit there in your cell. See, this is going to be the key. This is going to be the key. This is why they're going to do it. They're going to notice something and notice something fast. Here's the story. All Bureau of Prisons officers and employees, about 34,500 people, would still have to report to work if there was a government shutdown, leaving them without a paycheck. Now read that slowly. Or what? What do you mean, or what? What do you say? Okay. There ain't no way I'm not getting paid. I'm not showing up for work. Or what? What if I don't show up for work? What if I don't show up for work? Then what are you going to do? You're going to hire somebody else and not pay them? See, we don't have slave labor in this country. It's, whether you signed a contract or whatever, it's still employment at will. You can walk away. Now, wait until you read this. This is the hubris of the story. Government shutdown would be devastating. This is ABC covering the story. A potential government shutdown would be devastating for Bureau of Prisons employees, according to the head of the union that represents federal staffers at the agency. Well, if it's a union, why don't they just strike? A government shutdown appears to be on the horizon with just a few days until funding expires. Lawmakers have until the end of September 30. 34,000 people would still have to go to work. Baloney. A shutdown is absolutely devastating for our members. Put their lives on the line every single day, protect America from individuals incarcerated. But now they're having to go out and figure out how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to feed their families. They don't talk about going to soup kitchens and bread lines. Where's it at here? Here it is. Due to the location of most federal prisons, most of which are located in rural communities, getting access to a food bank during a shutdown can be a challenge. Are you kidding me? Yet there's no way I'm going to work. This is not happening. Now, when they don't go to work, they're not going to have a choice. Now, keep that idea in mind here for just 1 minute. Hold that idea in your mind. And now we're going to segue to something the Babylon Bee accidentally did. They accidentally, trying to be funny, reported something that was actually truthful that they were trying to make you believe was false. See, they're being tongue-in-cheek here. It says Philadelphia shoe stores, liquor stores, electronic stores looted by starving people desperately looking for bread. Now, they're trying to be funny. What they're trying to do here is say that, well, CNN is trying to make it seem like all the looters are just trying to find food, when really they're stealing all this high-end goods. Well, what the Babylon Bee doesn't get is that is exactly the case. You see, and this is covered if they actually would pay attention. This isn't, and this is even CNN reporting this. This isn't theft of need. A more insidious type of crime is pushing these stores like Target and all these places to close. It's organized crime. Now, what's going on long and the short is they're stealing the stuff, going out, putting it online, and selling it to get cash to then go buy the things they need to live. Organized crime. ORC, organized retail crime. Theft involves groups of people targeting stores that carry high-value merchandise like electronics, sporting goods, cosmetics, clothing, whatever. The groups steal large quantities of products and then resell them in secondary marketplaces or even back into the legitimate supply chains. So you can make money doing this. See, this is what's really going on. People see these smash and grabs and all this kind of stuff, and they think, well, they just wanted a big screen TV. They grabbed their big screen. They're home watching their big screen TV. That's not what they're doing. That's not what they're doing. Now, what do they have in common, that group with this group and the prisoners that are going to be released? All three of these groups of people have something in common that nobody is seeing. Prisoners on the inside looking at being released because states, the federal government can't afford to incarcerate them anymore. That's group one. Group two, organized retail crime. And the folks coming to the border. See, they all have nothing left to lose. We live in a moment where we do what we have to do for the people that we love. The old rules just don't apply. Katie Bowman, this is from the series Colony. We talked about for so long. Will Bowman, her husband in the series. This isn't a war we can win. We resist by just surviving. And this fantastic quote from Carl Weathers, Bo, in the series. Doesn't matter what a man has. If he doesn't have purpose, man or a woman, doesn't have a purpose in life, you take that away from them, the man usually, or the woman usually goes with it. See, this is the glue. This is the glue, whether it's a migrant coming to the border, whether it's one of these people doing these smash and grabs and taking the stuff and throwing it online to get the cash they can to live, or these prisoners. It's a purpose in life. Now, you might say it's an immoral one. Okay, I'm not even debating that. If you're at the point where you have to, you're at the point where, look, if they arrest me, they arrest me, but I'm not gonna, just sit here and be homeless. I'm not just sit here and do nothing. Especially these people. I spend all sorts of way too much time sitting and doing nothing. Whatever it is, I'm going to have a purpose in life. And that purpose may just be survival day to day. But if it's a day on the outside, any day on the outside, it's a blessing. I've used the analogy before. You call it shit, it's the fan. We call it without rule of law collapse. They call it Tuesday. They call it Tuesday. See, they've already lost everything. They're coming from a completely different mental, emotional, physical, spiritual place than a lot of us are. That's the real key to this whole thing. Now, for the next part of this, yes, for those of you that are already typing, I know I'm going to hell. I'm a horrible person because of the things I talk about. But somebody needs to talk about it. I know that when I die, I'm going to see this rickety bridge over this giant pit of lava. I'm going to walk across it into this little steamy place over here. Going to make my way all the way down here through the aisle of all of the block prisons, and I'm going to find my place right here at the end. Got it all reserved. I already know. So those of you that are waggling your moral finger, totally agreed, stipulated, agreed. Okay? I'm going to hell. Here's the idea that I've been trying to talk about for a couple of years. When it comes to, and this is the image on the right, making up the shortfall, making money under the table, making money that isn't taxable, depriving the federal government to do whatever you got to do to make life work. Which is the most moral choice? Or are any of them moral? Picking up a weapon like this character does and going and ending people for that purpose? Begging? Saying, you know what, I'm just going to rely on the benevolence and the charity of others. I'm not going to do anything immoral. I'm just going to hope. Then there's the option of, well, maybe doing something somewhat slightly immoral, maybe taking a job in a place where image has more to do with it than service. Let's just put it that way. Or something even more directly, I guess, immoral would be the word, as some people might see it. See, I caught this picture of one of these smash and grabs. I don't know whether this is a CVS or a Walgreens or whatever this is, a grocery store, maybe whatever. And I noticed, I look at the guy in front, I'm like, okay, he's got a bag of popcorn, bag of Doritos. Looks like he's got himself some kind of a drink. Maybe some, I don't know. It looks like all snacks. Okay. But I noticed the woman right here. And I looked in her left arm here. And it's kind of hard to see. I'll get the cursor out of the way. I know what she's carrying. And it's something only a woman would need. Now, you'd have to ask yourself a question. If you were security, would you stop them? Would you stop a woman carrying 2 armloads of something that only women need every month or so? I wouldn't. I mean, we've used this image so many times. You can take this little vial of insulin out, and you can put anything in there that you or somebody you know or somebody you love absolutely needs to survive. And then ask yourself the question, who am I? In the good times, I guess I would be a criminal. But when things fall apart and things go bad and everything goes sideways, who am I? The reason we use this is because that was something from Colony. It was a story that I thought was just under paid attention to. It was kind of unsung. The story of the character, Maddie Kenner, the actress Amanda Rigetti, had a son, needed insulin. Insulin was only allotted for certain wealthy people. She couldn't get it, so her sister had been stealing it for her, but they were going to run out. And so she finds one of these wealthy guys that has access to these things. And she romances the guy. And then you'd have to ask yourself from the guy's perspective, what would be the right choice there? What would be the right choice? I mean, I need a choice that doesn't allow the kid to die, I guess. But then Would you sit and say I would do it for any and every person that came? You know, it's one of these very, very difficult questions, but believe me, everything is going to change when governments realize this is a better option. Yeah, there's going to be crime. There's already crime right now. So they're saying, why are we wasting all of these resources? Why are we wasting all of these tax dollars incarcerating these people when there's going to be crime anyway? See, we have all these people locked up, and crime is still going up and going up and going up and going up. And don't think so? Don't think so? Read about it. I mean, it's all over the media. Eventually, they're going to put the 2 and 2 together. They're going to put it all together and say it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. We need, crime is just going to be crime is going to be crime. And what we need to do is spend as little money as possible on it, whether it means trying to stop it or whether incarcerating people or anything else, because it doesn't work. And that's what's just going to put the foot on the accelerator of this. And believe me, it'll change the world as we know it. So I will leave it there. God bless. Thank you guys so much for your support. I very, very much appreciate it. Just wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted to make you aware of what's really happening in the world, because it's just not, the real stories are out there. You just got to be able to pick them out and put everything together and get to the truth. And while we do that here at YouTube, we have to be very circumspect and very careful about what we say. Over at Patreon, we don't. And that's the nice thing about Patreon. Patreon gets kind of a bad reputation. Some people say that it's a kind of an OnlyFans light, and perhaps that might be true, but there is something coming. There is something coming. And we all need to be able to converse and talk about it and get ideas out and stay in communication. Even Southern Prepper 1 today, check out his video talking about Boots on the Ground report. He does these Boots on the Ground reports all the time. It's about comms. It's about staying in communication and not cloistering yourself away and just going silent and going dark. So once again, thank you for your support. I very much appreciate it. God bless. Pray for me. I'll pray for you. Pray for each other. Lift each other up. Once again, God bless. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.